Hello, a very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss an opinion question, which asks your opinion about a particular situation. The situation is people who cause their own illness through unhealthy lifestyles and poor diets should have to pay more for their health care. So if you consider the people who have made their own situation worse because of their own habits, because of their own lifestyles, they have to pay more for their health care than those who pay, than those who are having normal diseases. So whether you agree or disagree with this opinion is the question. This is an opinion question. So you can go with agree, disagree, or do you have any other opinion to state? You can state. You're free to state the extent. Your like a scale, you can mark to a great extent you agree, to a lesser extent, to a certain extent, to some extent. Okay, so you have a lot of option, or you can say completely agree to the statement. Now you have a wide range of options here, so it is your personal choice to decide what you can say. And after that, once you have decided, then it's your responsibility to prove what you have said is correct or not. Now, let's go with the first sentence of the introduction. This is the first sentence of the introduction. In the introduction, we just restated the question statement. It's argued that those who are primary responsible persons for their own diseases have to pay more for healthcare when compared to normal morbid population. So we have said in another way, and the answer for the second question, see, here it is. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Even though the viewpoint appears to be true, so the viewpoint, the statement appears to be true, it is inhumane to show such discrimination. To show such discrimination is not good. That's what we have said. And what exactly is the reason for my thesis statement? This is my thesis statement. And what is the reason for this thing? The primary reason why I hesitate to agree to the notion is because most of the ailments they suffer. So I can reduce the word most ailments. Most ailments they suffer are likely to be serious, and they would have been already in an utterly exhausted economic condition. So, you know, there are two situations that we bought. I can say the preliminary reasons, because two reasons we have said. Okay, so the preliminary reasons why I hesitate to agree is, one thing is that they are suffering serious conditions. Second thing is that they must have already spent a lot of money. Now, example, if a person with lung cancer who once was a chronic smoker, he was a chronic smoker once, right now he has lung cancer, he might have already spent a huge sum for his treatment. The families who are not primary responsibilities, no, I think his family, it is his family who is not, no, okay, that his family is not the primary responsible element which would have caused the situation, now has no option. They don't have option but to suffer heavily because of such diseases, because such diseases are long term and often irreversible. Now, because they have to suffer, because all of a sudden you cannot get the cure and come back to the normal life. So it's long-term disease. You have to go for a long-term treatment, and mostly the conditions are irreversible. It cannot be brought back to normal. In such a miserable condition, you have to understand the situation. So in such a miserable condition, it is inhumane to neglect the economic needs of these people. So if we are closing our eyes towards such economic needs of the suffering, it's not it's not humane actually. Now the second thing is that it's a fact that, considering the fact that the situations of those who are suffering adverse health conditions because of their own habits and lifestyle are not like to be brought back to normal, the other members of the society have to take a humanistic approach towards them. Now, what we are telling is that it cannot be brought back to normal. So I can make a small change. Okay. So it cannot be brought back to normal. Other members of the society have to take a humanistic approach towards them. So instead of paying them more, I feel the responsible authorities should avail them subsidized healthcare. So instead of making them paying more, you have to give them subsidies. This is what I feel, because you have to take a humanistic approach. Voluntary organizations should also extend their help towards these people. The charity organizations are there, they can help these people. However, a significant portion of their revenue of the revenue of of many states is channeled to treat this population. So you have to understand the fact that a significant proportion of revenue should be channeled to this population. So when you look at the common taxpayers' viewpoint, it is irrational for the whole society to bear this huge medical expense just because these conditions are mostly the end consequences of their deeds and inappropriate approach towards their health maintenance. So we have to see the other part too. So why it appears to be rational. Now, that state is already spending a huge sum of money on them. And this is irrational in case of the taxpayers' view, because they are a huge proportion of the taxpayers, a huge share of the taxpayers' money is being spent on taking care of the health maintenance of these people. To conclude, instead, we have to prevent them. Prevent such incidents. That's good. To conclude, albeit it appears to be rational for making people who are directly responsible for their unfavorable health pay more for their treatment, I feel we have to take a generous approach towards them. So instead of being bold towards people who are suffering with diseases because of their own acts and deeds, habits and lifestyle, we have to consider the situation is irreversible. We have to consider the situation. They must have already spent a huge sum of money. They are going through a financial crisis which is very pathetic. We need to consider these things, and we have to be more generous towards them instead of being strict in the financial cases. And that is the end of the explanation here. Hope you must have understood this thing. Thank you.